Welcome in to the Funsie experience. Initiating Funsie protocol. What is up? You all better strap in because you're in for one heck of a podcast. It's Funsie, y'all. Funsie folk.
Funsie.
Yeah.
Funsie. I'm joined by Jim Millie. Did you end up listening to Amelie yet, Josh?
Okay,
okay.
I feel like I am such a liar. Like I've heard the song. It's just not
okay.
like I've heard I feel like no one's not heard that song. Like you've
Yeah.
heard the song. It's just I didn't know what it was, right?
I got you, dude. It's like when people talk about actors and actresses. I'm always like, I have no idea who that is, and I see the face, and I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I got that.
Yeah, I know who that is. Yeah.
I have a question for you, Sajko.
Yeah.
Why are you pronouncing it Millie? It's the letter
Wait,
A.
Dude, they say Amelie in the song.
Millie. Millie.
Wait, what do you think they say? A Millie?
Millie.
A Millie.
Yeah, exactly.
No, like,
A Millie,
uh,
sir. You better.
It's like
you better.
it's
back
like
up.
the Millie. I just thought it was funny. Millie. Millie.
And we have Ben also.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, sorry, I didn't want to. I wasn't trying to be a stickler. I just thought it was funny how you were pronouncing Millie. Maybe I'm wrong though. I thought it was a Millie, like a Millie.
Dude, I don't know. When did that song actually come out? Like 2002 or something like that. It's been a hot boy minute.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. All right, but we appreciate you guys checking us out. It's episode 4 already, y'all. What the heck? We've been doing this for a month. That's awesome.
I know.
Happy to be here.
Very exciting.
Hopefully you guys are happy to be here, all listeners. Yeah, we're excited to just keep on rolling with it. Boys, what's up? What have you guys been doing? Josh, I saw you got a new car, dude.
Yeah. For those listening at home.
Yeah, tell us the story of how you crashed or whatever happened.
Oh yeah.
Well, it was actually after a disc golf tournament, so it's kind of pertinent, right?
So it was worth it. Was it the tilt tournament?
No. It was,
okay.
It was a regular tournament. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe I can write it off. Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah, it's all part of the video. You'll see it in the edit.
Yeah, dude, that's what I'm saying. I played a tournament 2 weekends ago, and down here in Texas, the weather has just been super weird. And the Saturday that the tournament was supposed to start, it just started pouring, and like we tried to tee off. I didn't even get my shot off before there was a weather delay because of lightning.
Oof.
We take a break, go again. We get 2 holes in, weather delay because of lightning. We go take a break. They send us back out, weather delay because of lightning. And then they were like, okay, well, this isn't working. Let's just push the round to tomorrow, Sunday. Everyone go home. We'll do 2 rounds tomorrow, shotgun, and just knock it out then. So I was like, okay, sounds good. So I leave, and this tournament's like 45 minutes away from me, so I need to drive down the highway to get home. And it's just absolutely pouring, and I have a rinky-dink 2000 Ford Ranger that weighs about 10 pounds.
Dude, that is so sick.
Yeah, well, not anymore.
I know, but like those old Ford Rangers, not to cut you off, but quickly, every time I see them, I'm like, if there was a truck that I had that wasn't those tiny trucks that I know are legal in Connecticut, but if you were to go to like Massachusetts, they're not legal. I'm like, dude, those tiny old Ford Rangers are so sweet. Anyways.
The tiny old Ford Rangers are elite. But I'm biased, so. So I was driving home, and I was like, okay, you got to be careful. You know, there's wet on the roads. Drive safe. So I'm driving like 15 under on the highway. Probably going like 50, 55. But there's this highway down here in DFW called 635, and the like ongoing joke is that they've been doing road work on it for the last 25 years, which legitimately might be true. And I don't know if you guys are gonna know what I'm talking about, but like the concrete, like with like a highway, the concrete's usually just flat, but when they do road work, for some reason they do like sketchy patch up jobs. And so there was like that concrete where they patch it up, and it's like super on top of that concrete. And so I like drove. Like, you know, I was just driving on the highway, and my car went over one of those like concrete bumps or whatever of a bad patch up work, and it just started hydroplaning. And so I was in the far left lane, and my car started spinning to the right, like about to slide into someone. And I was like, you know, holding my wheel, like trying to make sure that doesn't happen. And then I went over another little patch of those, and I heard something snap in my car, and my car whipped the other way and went straight into the barricade.
Oh
And so,
no.
Dude,
yeah, and
I
then
didn't know it was
it
this
was,
serious. I'm glad you're okay.
oh yeah, I'm chilling.
Do you know what
Luckily,
snapped?
I have no clue, but essentially the front left end of my car was like absolutely wrecked. And the axle looked like it was bent a little bit. And so my car wouldn't start, and it like was rolling weird. And so I was just stuck on the highway for like 15 minutes with cars zooming past. And then someone ended up helping
Nightmare.
me out and pushing me off to the side. It was pretty crazy, but I like the weirdest thing is I cut my foot up bad, which is like, how do you cut your foot up in a car crash?
So
I
it
don't know.
happened
It
in the
was
crash
random.
itself.
Yeah, yeah. So it was
Huh.
just that was about all that happened. I hit my head on the window, but I don't know. I'm fine.
Mhm.
Hopefully, no lasting repercussions.
Sweet. It is
But
funny
yeah,
to hear
that was
like
like
all
best case
this.
scenario.
It is funny to hear all the stories like you think they're unique to your area, but you'd find out that they're just everywhere. It's like how
Mhm.
people say, of course, in New England, they're like, if you don't like the weather, just wait 5 minutes. And then, like I've worked with people that are from, Colorado or Jersey, and they all say the exact same thing. And it's like, is there really anything that's unique to our area, or do we
Yeah,
all just say the same thing?
literally.
It's like what you're saying about like the potholes. Like we get snow pushed around here for snowstorms, so our roads are atrocious. They just get absolutely annihilated.
Yeah.
Ben can confirm.
Can confirm road annihilation.
For the
Yeah,
for
but you
the
got the
most part,
sweet new whip.
Texas roads are good, but yeah. So old 2000 Ford Ranger was wrecked. The biggest thing that sucked about it was the last few weeks we poured like $2,000 into it, just like fixing it up, and then
Dang, dude.
it was pretty much, it was total. Like we didn't even try to get them to fix it because it just wasn't worth it, and so ended up selling it and getting a
Selling
nice
it?
little for like $200 or something.
Oh, okay. I was
Oh,
like,
that's brutal.
dang, who bought that car?
Yeah,
That makes
yeah.
more sense.
More than zero, which is nice.
It's like
And
that.
then
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say we got a nice little Subaru Forester. She's a
Oh
beaut.
my God, you
that's
blend right in
perfect.
up here in New England. I think in Connecticut, that's the number one most sold vehicle, or like the most popular vehicle, is a Subaru Outback.
It's not common down here. I just wanted 4-wheel drive for road trips. That was one of my
You're
main.
a trailblazer, man.
Yeah, changing the Texas culture. No more trucks. Get rid
Yeah.
of them.
Has what I was gonna say is has any of you seen that old, I don't know if it was a Ford commercial where like the guy takes his old pickup truck, it's like vintage, into the shop, and the guy's like, it's done, man, it's over, like you should get a new car, and then he looks at his son and then he says, fix her up or whatever. Is that what you're doing with yours? Pouring the $2,000? You're like, you know what?
Well, yeah, I always told people, like, we've been thinking about getting me a new car for a while because it was a 2000 Ford Ranger. I've had it for 8 years. I've put
Dude,
like,
with your YouTube money, it's surprising.
I make no money from YouTube,
I'm just kidding.
guys.
I'm
Don't
kidding. I'm
listen to
kidding.
Ben. But we have been thinking about getting a new car for a little while. But the idea was like, I really just wanted to keep this Ford Ranger forever and like just get another car at
That
some
makes
point.
sense.
Because the Ford Ranger would be worth like nothing, if I was trying to resell it, especially now that it got wrecked. And so our idea was just buy me a new car in like a year or two, and that just kind of got accelerated, and we also had to get rid of the Ford Ranger. But yeah, that commercial does sound like me because I loved my Ford Ranger and I never wanted to get rid of it, but it was time. Too many signs, too many reasons.
All right,
Sad.
everyone, you're listening to Car Talk right now. Let's get back on over. All right, you guys have any like content or anything that you've been up to? Ben, Josh, anything remotely disc golf?
Well,
Here,
this is perfect because shout out my sponsor, Hooligan Discs. Use code Ben10, hooliganDiscs.com. They sent over the new dime and the new thread, and the dime I'm gonna start putting with, at least attempting to make it my main putter, because
Really?
I don't know. I just
It does feel good.
It's
I felt
nice.
it. It feels really good.
So yeah, shout out Hooligan Disc. If you want to purchase one, use code Ben10, 10% off everything. But yeah, that's. I'm gonna post my Hooligan Disc video either today or tomorrow. The
Full length video.
Not the review. This review is gonna come sometime this week, reel wise. But I'm saying full length video. I'm gonna post a Hooligan Disc sponsored video, I should say. So that I've been working on for a while. So it's gonna be pretty awesome. So if you're listening to this podcast, it's probably already out or about to come out. So go check it out right now.
Sounds
Dude,
snazzy.
very cool. That sounds awesome. Yeah.
Joshua.
I'll shout out Armory real quick. The tournament I played last weekend, or the weekend that I crashed my car, was an Armory
Gauntlet
tournament. Yes, sir. So
Oh my God.
shout out Armory.
Gauntlet
Use code
conspiracy.
JMillie for 10% off, and it supports me and supports them, and they're a bunch of great guys with a bunch of great discs, so go buy from them. But in terms of disc golf stuff I have going on, I'm playing an A tier this weekend in MA1. I am desperately trying to win MA1 at some point, because I'm right now, for the viewers listening, that doesn't make any sense. For the people listening, I am 963 rated, and technically classed as a professional because I've accepted cash, but that only matters at amateur majors.
Worlds.
And so I'm still playing MA1 because I haven't won an MA1 event, and I want to win an MA1 event before I move on to MPO. And so I have my last 5 MA1 events. I've gotten third, second, fifth, second, third. And so I just want to get one so bad. So I'm playing at A tier this weekend. Cheer me on. Live Oak Summer Open. Watch it live. See if I can take it down 3 rounds. I want to
following along. Man's clawing his way up to first place.
Please. I need it.
Very cool.
I'm trying to win MA1 too, but I'm very far away. I've been slumping. Don't go look at my recent rated rounds, please. I beg you.
Yeah, you just played Welcome to the Jungle, that's an A tier, right? Like a 3-round A tier.
Yeah. Last round I actually played pretty well. I had to re-tee on a hole, and then the last hole, since I was just so out of it, I just ran a putt, and it landed maybe 10 feet from the basket, and then started rolling and rolled 60 feet to OB. So then I ended up getting 5, when realistically, if I didn't probably re-tee at that time when I did to get the 5, when it should have been just a par, I probably would have just laid it up. So, but other than that, yeah, the first 2 rounds wasn't feeling good. Actually, shout out Muddy Pond ball fields. I spent at least 4 hours there throughout the weekend. Not even kidding, because someone was up, and hopefully I fixed it. So there you go. Thanks for watching Funsie. We talk about ourselves and not the pros.
Yeah,
see you next
episode.
episode.
I'm sure everyone. Yeah, they can't wait for the next hour and 10 minutes. Cool. I've just been working, and then when I'm not working, I'm editing disc golf content or recording disc golf content. That's straight up been my entire life lately. And then watching something at night with
retweet.
Shout out Sajko doing all the reels for Funsie. If you like the reels, it's all Sajko, so give him a quick "hoo yeah" in the comments. Shout out Sajko. Sajko, you confuse me because you work so hard to get good, yet you say you don't want to play tournaments and compete. It honestly, it confuses me. I feel like you'd be very, very good in the tournament scene just with your skill, and I feel like it's kind of what you're looking for in a way, because you always post your form and your practicing. Is it just more for content wise, or it feels like you have that competitive edge, but you don't do you not embracing it? I guess this is a Sajko interview.
Yeah, I can touch on that a little bit, because it's funny that you brought it up, because I was actually thinking about it myself, because my neighbors were like, "Oh, did you play in a tournament this week?" And I was like, "No, I'm not a big tournament person." It's always having to try to explain it to other people. If I had to guess, I kind of touched on it last week, how growing up, I more so got into a lot more creative hobbies, whether it was drawing or even just playing video games, writing music, stuff like that. This is kind of the first athletic hobby that I really enjoyed, I guess. So I've always liked to just get really good at things. because it just allows me to better enjoy the activity that I'm doing. If I play with friends and stuff, that's great. But it's hard for me. Like I said, so much of my time has been spent, recording disc golf content, editing disc golf content. With the remaining time that I have, it's me, taking care of myself or hanging out with my friends and family, and then like maybe watching something with my wife Kiara at night. So it just makes it such a hard thing to dedicate an entire weekend to playing a tournament when I already really cherish the time that I have anyways. Does that answer your question at all?
Yeah, so it's basically timing wise, you just have a lot going on in tournaments. Because tournaments. I mean, like for me, there was a 3-day tournament this weekend, and pretty much the morning from wake up till 2, I was.
I was like, what is happening?
From wake up till 2, I was pretty much booked, like all disc golf, driving to the course, practicing, playing, and all that. So that doesn't make sense.
Right. And, full transparency, I get to see my parents once or twice a week if I'm lucky. Or, my friends, maybe I get to hang out with them like once a month or 2 times a month. So it just gets more and more difficult to make time for things that you care about. So trying to justify making time for tournaments. It's difficult to do.
What about a Friday flex? I mean, I'm doing
That's
one
perfect.
this Friday, so join me.
That's perfect, but I saw it was full. You're talking about the Maple Hill Flex, yeah.
It's full?
Yeah, it was 128 people. It's already
someone's
full,
gonna drop. And if someone does, I will get you in.
Cool. Okay, well yeah, maybe I'll do that. But yeah, I just like getting good at stuff. That's how I enjoy it. And like I said, I've never had like an athletic outlet to be able to do that. So it's just cool to watch the progress.
That makes sense. 100%. I'm glad you let the world know.
Yeah, you heard it here. Is this the point where we get into the icebreaker now?
I want you to show us the disc that you have behind you.
Oh yeah, we didn't get into that last episode.
Last week I had this Chris Dickerson 2020 United States Disc Golf Champion FX2 up on the wall. So I had that up because we were talking about Chris and it was upsetting hearing about his news with his hip. But then this week, we got Evelina Son. For those that can't see, it's Evelina TL3 from last year.
Good stuff.
Yeah. Just one of those things that I'm gonna probably keep doing as long as it makes sense to do.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I don't have an Andrew Presnell disc. I gave one to BB Bucks like a little bit ago, so got nothing.
I think,
but I'm sure those will be flying off the shelves now.
Yeah. Yeah. Shout out Prez. That we'll get to that, but that was pretty incredible, pretty inspiring.
So stoked. Okay, for the icebreaker, I think every time I say that I was thinking. This time I wasn't thinking. I wanted to know what video or piece of content that you've made you guys are the most proud of. And for whatever reason, maybe you put the most amount of time into that one, or you tried something different that you were like, I'm glad this paid off. What do you guys have?
My most favorite piece of content that I made was my sponsorship announcement video. It's my least viewed full-length video, but
that's how it goes.
It's kind of like because I did something different. So if you're listening and you watch my videos, I take a lot of inspiration from like Ryan Trahan, Casey Neistat, like bigger YouTubers that like vlog and just show what they're doing. I get a ton of comments that are like, "You're the Ryan Trahan of disc golf," but at a certain point, I want it to be like I'm the Jay Milley of disc golf. Like I have my own style that's not necessarily like the same as someone else's. And so for that sponsorship video, it was a little bit more chill, more transition, more like I spent a lot more time focusing on like camera angles and like moving from story point to story point. Honestly, that video was more like Casey Neistat when all my other videos are a little bit more like Ryan Trahan.
Right.
And
Okay.
I think as time has gone on, I've found my voice a little bit more and like found my style and how I like to make videos a little bit more. And I want to keep differentiating myself. And I think by making a video like that, I, forwarded it, got a little bit closer to my own complete style that isn't necessarily like someone sees it and thinks of someone else, So that's probably why I'm the most proud of that one.
Yeah, that makes sense because I remember before you mentioned how at some point you would like to do like a different piece of content that could maybe a tear to someone's eye where they're like,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
yo, Jay Millie's got it right now. I'm sucked in. Ben.
One day.
Yeah, mine I've already talked about maybe on this podcast. I think I have. But yeah, it's easily when I flew down to Charlotte and
Oh, it was that one.
yeah, when I flew down to Charlotte, spent a lot of money, put up so I put up it was going to be out of the 500, me and another round were I think the split was like we were originally going to split it, but then he decided he'll go 300 and I'll pay 200. And then if the ace was hit, spoiler, unfortunately it wasn't, but that video isn't like was so long ago. But so yeah, I was preparing to spend a lot of money, all because Joseph hit me up and said, "Hey, like let's do one down here. I'm opening a store in Asheville, North Carolina." So I was like, okay, perfect opportunity. I just bet it all on black, basically. Like, okay, I'm gonna make a good video out of this. The another round video did terrible, for lack of better terms. I think it maybe only got like 1,000 views when I released it, and I was like, oh, that sucks. And no one hit the ace, but fortunately, no one hit the ace because I was able the next day in Charlotte to do another ace challenge, and Big Germ randomly showed up for no reason. He just saw it and wanted to be a part of it, and he made the video obviously where people wanted to click on it to see Big Germ, and then they stayed for like the content and the ace. So it was a huge gamble and it didn't pay off, but then it seemed like the world was over when it did an ace, and then it did pay off because I was able to re-record again, and that video is like my most popular video. It has like at least 30,000 views. And yeah, so it definitely got a lot of more exposure to my channel. So that's probably my most favorite piece of content, just because I spent over $1,000 to record that video, and I was willing to lose even more, and I didn't make any money off that video. So, but it was huge for my YouTube career, even though I haven't really posted as of late. But that changes once I post this video with Hooligan Discs. So yeah.
That makes sense. I mean, you have an entire experience associated with that.
Yeah.
I think.
Go ahead, Josh.
I was just gonna say, I think that was the first video I saw of yours, Ben.
Let's go. Yeah, I
didn't even know who you were, because I don't. Funny enough, I don't really listen to podcasts, so I didn't know about.
You're a poser, dude. You're a freaking poser.
And so I had no clue who Ben was, and then I watched his video. I was like, oh, interesting. He's got all these hookups, and then I saw you in Simon's vlogs, and I was like, oh shoot, this guy's legit.
Man's the real deal.
Yeah. Thank you. That's awesome. I didn't actually know, because I think you just either I followed you or you randomly followed me. I think I might have followed you and you followed me. I honestly forget. But yeah, so there you go. That's another example, like how it was worth it. I got the connection, and that somehow ended up with me and Jay Millie being on a podcast together. But yeah, I pride that the most, because it's just like I just love that type of content, and that's kind of my kind of lane, just like giving out money for challenges in disc golf. It's like what people say, like Mr. Beast, stuff like that. So like I kind of enjoy that. Like that's kind of like my, I guess, lane in the YouTube content sphere as of right now, and I think it's really cool. But that's gonna stick, but also change. I have some exciting videos coming soon. Don't worry, it's not play 18 with me. or anything like that. However, I will say this: I want to get to that point. I want to get to the point where I'm good enough where people will want to watch me play disc golf. I feel like that is the content that Simon's vlogs before I even was a cameraman for him. You know, I could watch him all day, not because Simon was like super entertaining like personality wise. It's because he's so good, and I love just watching him play. That no matter what he was doing in the vlogs, it was just so nice to watch him play because he's incredible, and it's something like you strive to do. It's just seeing the top levels perform. So that is eventually, honestly, would be my goal, is to start creating that like content where Simon just picks up camera and plays and gets tons and tons of views. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be Simon Lizotte like viewership, but like because he's incredible and he's top 3 in the world.
It's the pinnacle of disc golf, pretty much.
So it's different, but I'm just saying like any YouTuber of disc golf YouTuber that's like good that I want to watch, I'll watch. Like Gannon Burr is another good example. I'll watch. So ideally, like I'm not gonna do that content at least right now. Maybe it'll switch up, but ideally that's what I want to do because it's just the content that I probably would enjoy creating the most, just because the ease of it, doing something I love and just filming it, kind of with these other videos, like the challenges and the other ones I plan on doing. It's because I love disc golf, but it's not necessarily that I love going out and creating YouTube videos, if that makes sense. Like, that's not my passion. Disc golf's my passion. Creating these YouTube videos is just an accessory to forward my passion in disc golf. So yeah, ideally that would be my goal, is to just record me play disc golf.
You heard it here. Ben is passionate.
I just love playing disc golf. It's my favorite.
You kind of reminded me. So Ben, you said that you're kind of like taking Mr. Beast style, and then Josh, you said that you were kind of taking like Casey Neistat style. I don't think I've ever been compared to like another creator before. I don't know if that's good or bad.
You remind me of like a Curtis Connor, honestly.
Yeah.
Okay. That actually kind of makes a lot of sense, because I think if there are non-disc golf YouTube channels that I watch, it's those two. So there you go.
Yeah, no, I was just taking the words
Danny
out of your
Gonzalez.
mouth. That's what I said.
Oh, okay. Well, don't they say you become the 5 people that you spend the most time with? So I'm sure
totally.
the 5 content pieces that you watch the most, you probably great into your own style.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I feel like I would prefer, at first, when I first started making my content, it was like nice to hear, oh, you're like Ryan Trahan. And it was like, oh, that's sick. That's who I want to be like. But now that I'm kind of a little bit more established, it would be nice to not have those comments. Well, I want to be individualistic. I want to have my own style.
That makes sense.
I agree with you 100%, but I think that's always going to be tough, just because YouTube really, there's no one ever doing original ideas. It's kind of like a rinse and recycle and copy. So the top guys like Mr. Beast, Ryan Trahan, like these top Casey Neistat, like it's pretty easy for people to compare them, like a smaller YouTuber too, just because just the YouTube engine is like, there's a certain kind of style and stuff that works, that gets people's attention. So people are still gonna draw similarities. And I'm not trying to be the Mr. Beast. It's just like, that's just, the challenges for money. I feel like he really started that. Mm-hmm. And even if I did a video that wasn't even like Mr. Beast's editing style at all, but still did challenges for money, it's still gonna be compared, because he's the originator, in my opinion, and the one who kind of is the most popular for that. So yeah, I'm not trying to be the Mr. Beast. It's just, I just found a lane in disc golf to do it.
Right. Let's talk disc golf.
Well, this is why I like Funsie, because we don't have to talk disc golf. We can talk
No,
disc golf
I agree.
adjacent.
I agree. It just felt like the right time to transition into
Yeah, no, for
Champions
sure.
Cup.
Yeah, I feel like our intros are always so long.
Yeah, but that's fine. That means that
Exactly.
I mean, what's the alternative? You're like, how's it going? I'm good. Like it's like going to the office where everyone's like, some dude's wearing a new sweater vest and he's just like, oh, the wife last night made lasagna, and you just shake hands. You're like, how's it going, Bob? Like that's not. Yeah, exactly.
No, yeah, 100%, and that's why we put the caveat episode 1. Like, if you want to hear recaps, it's gonna happen on this show, but we're also gonna talk about my grandma's broccoli lasagna that tastes absolutely amazing.
Valid.
All
Cool.
right,
Champions Cup. Champions Cup, son.
let's go.
I'll touch on FPO. Mostly because Ben ended up saying that I need to touch on FPO. I got it. So the course ended up playing it. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna explain. Yeah, so the tournament that I was playing in this weekend, tee times were during every single tee time. Every round was during FPO. So like I was literally finishing by the time FPO was over. So Sajko watched it, and he's going to give you a nice, comprehensive review.
Yeah, so
yes.
Champions Cup, son. So they were playing at Northwood Park this past week, and normally it's played at WR Jackson. I don't think I really have to explain any of that because I'm sure we all know that it was held previously at WR Jackson, and I'm sure every other podcast would pretty much cover that the reason that it's at Northwood Park, where Ledgestone is normally held, or at least for one of the courses that Ledgestone takes place. It looked kind of weird to me this year, not in a bad way, in a good way. I think we were seeing it in like a different time of the year, so everything felt green, but everything felt very clean as well, like very taken care of. And there were certain spots that were super cut out, and like, did you see the back of like the green on hole 12, Ben? Like how much like trees and understory that they actually removed? Like you can actually just see open sky now.
I don't really know the hole you're exactly referencing. Oh, hole 12. Hole 12. The impossible one. The impossible one. Yes. Yeah, no, I didn't notice. Are you saying they cleared trees like up top?
Like on the putting green behind it, it was completely open, and that's just not the same as it used to be.
I don't recall. Like I know hole 12 what it looks like. You throw and then it's like a left, and then but I don't recall like last year what it looked like. No, unfortunately, but.
Yeah, well, my point is it felt freshened up, and I'm sure that's because it's the major, but it was just really nice to see. But yeah, Evelina takes down FPO. The hype is real.
Yes.
Full bias. I don't know about you guys. I always root for Evelina most of the time, even though I didn't end up picking her last week. She's just my favorite player. She's just always smiling, regardless of if she throws like a good shot or a bad shot, and it's just fun to watch how she throws the disc because she puts her entire body into it, and it just really enjoyable to watch. Yeah, so she takes it down. She was not leading. I think first round it was Silva Saarinen that was leading right out the gate, and I want to say that Evelina was like fourth or something like that, and then followed by round 2, Rachel Turton, just no offense to her, comes absolutely out of nowhere and is leading the tournament, which is so cool to see because I was wondering actually where she was, and then it seemed like a week ago, Prodigy ended up announcing that she signed a deal, like re-signed with them again, which is kind of odd timing. But then a storyline that the announcers ended up saying is because she was playing so well, even going up to like the final round, that if she ended up beating Kristen, who I think was in 5th at the time, that she would have earned her tour card for next year. Unfortunately, she did not end up doing that. I think she ended up taking 6th, which is kind of a bummer, but at least...
Wait, how does that work? She needed to beat Kristen for a tour card?
That's verbatim what they said. I don't know if that means that she had to place top 5 to earn it, or if I'm not entirely
Kristen
sure.
I think
the
tour
line.
cards is just
If you beat Kristen once,
standing.
you get a
No,
card.
I
mean-
think tour cards is standings, as in like the top 72 players on the DGPT standings, at least. 72 might not be the correct, but the top whatever DGPT qualify for a tour card. So I can imagine it's the same for FPO. So
Interesting.
I don't know. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's just standings at the end of the season, like where they're placing. So they'll give it, and then obviously there's exceptions. Like Paul Cran's got a tour card, and he wasn't on tour
Right.
last year, but that's because he solidified. He's highly rated. So there's always exceptions and stuff like that. Well, maybe it was a bid to somewhere. Maybe he was DGC, or maybe it was tour card. I don't know.
I don't know, man. Here at Funsie, we provide partial facts and partial statistics that you may or may not check. But I feel like they're mostly correct. We just don't know the full details of them. But that is what they ended up saying. I do recall Terry saying that on the broadcast.
Yeah, we'd have to dive into that more. Let us know in the comments, actually.
Yeah. So you didn't. So Ben, you didn't end up seeing the final round for FPO, but
I watched like some of it, very minimal for as in the live broadcast, just because like I said, it was literally completely during the time I was playing. But I did see FPO Evelina clutch up and win it. I was thinking on the 18th hole, what if she like kind of her putting woes, how she's missed like 10 footers before.
every
I was
time,
thinking like
every time I
was like,
wince.
bro,
Like
what
Kiara
if
and I
that
were
happened?
watching, and I wince.
I was like, what if that just happens now? I'm glad she made it 100%, but I was thinking in my
Yeah,
head
completely.
like this is not secure yet. Like if I'm in second place, I'm like there's still slightly a chance. Which
Well, yeah,
Weren't
I
there-
was
weren't
nervous.
there one-
Go ahead, Josh.
There was multiple people one stroke behind her, right?
Yeah, like there were a
Yeah.
bunch of people on her tail, and after round
Yeah.
3, they, I think it was like Kristen was 2 strokes behind her, and I was just like, I don't know. But yeah, she pulls it out. Kristen ended up being the person that shot the worst round score in the final round, but still was in the top 10. Very, very surprising to see. But then Henna absolutely clutched up on the final hole and gets the eagle.
Wait,
so like.
did you see she eagled 18 every single round?
Oh, I didn't know that. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
That's wild.
I think she was 8 down on the hole for every single round she eagled 18. Yeah, which
Yeah, that's
is
filthy.
which is absurd. I mean,
Has that ever been done on the MPO or FPO side at like a disc golf pro tour event?
where you eagle every
eagle
single
every single round?
Oh, yeah, I'm not sure about that.
That's like a stat Mando question where he
Yeah, that
could
would have to be a
go
stat
into like
Mando thing.
the archives that we can't really get access to. But yeah, I don't believe so. I mean, unless it was a super soft. I imagine probably back in the day. I mean, I was watching some old
with, like,
DDO.
the beast.
Yeah, I was watching some old DDO, and it was like 440 foot or 470 foot par fours. So
Nice.
I can imagine like back then.
Yeah, I'm sure
Yeah.
it happened back then. I feel like it's interesting how last week we were talking about like, is Kristen going to take everything down? And then she comes out this week and like you just mentioned, last round didn't shoot very well. She was still top 10, which is like, she probably won't be outside of the top 10, but she didn't take it down. So who knows?
I know.
Could be anyone's game this year.
Yeah, I mean, it's like Silva was right there, and I thought she was going to end up taking it down, but then within the last couple of holes, she ended up kind of cracking under the pressure. I ended up seeing her looking at her phone, and hole 17 just early release and just went OB left side, and she did the same thing on 18's tee. So yeah, kind of sad to see. It was the announcers ended up sharing like a really cool statistic where there's never been an FPO player. See, this is another like partial one that has won from chase card. So I don't know if that means on the pro tour. I don't know if that means on the pro tour, because who knows? Maybe on like some tiny little C tier, maybe that happened.
It
but
has to be pro tour.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it
No
sounds
way.
like Pro Tour if they said that.
Yeah, it has to be pro tour.
We'll
That's
have
so crazy,
we'll
though.
have to write this stuff down, just so we can be the Funsie facts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Funsie
Funsie facts, man. And then
I 100% resonate with that though. Like if I was even like a measly A tier, even in my MA1, like if someone's on my tail coming into 17 or 18, I'm fumbling the bag. There's no doubt about it. I'm
Yeah,
not Paul
for
Macbeth.
sure.
I like I've had a few like clutch moments, but nothing crazy yet. Still got to get the mental under wraps, and so I completely resonate with Silva in that.
Yeah, obviously she has great things ahead of her if she keeps
Yeah.
playing the way that she was this weekend. I don't know if you guys ended up seeing Cat Merch dropped as well, and then Maria
Yeah, I saw
Oliva
that.
also dropped, but she didn't post about it, or at least not up to this point that we're
They
recording.
dropped before or during the round?
During
or
after.
Maria, I'm not sure about, but Cat for sure ended up dropping during the round because she made a post about it. She said that something to the effect of like her mental just isn't right now, so she didn't feel like she could compete, and hopefully people understand. So whatever that ends up being.
Was it mid fourth round?
No, it was like first round, I thought. Or when was it?
I think the post was 2 days ago or something like that. I want to say.
Was it
I
during
can
the
double
round?
check. No idea.
Yeah.
I always find it interesting. I mean, not to say anything against Cat Merch, but I always find it interesting when someone does drop mid round. I like to check to see what they were shooting, and I'm like, is this a ratings thing? You know,
Right.
I'm not saying that that's what Cat Merch did, or that anyone does in this
after round
situation.
one. She either during or after round one, but she was at a 78, which the course par is 69. So she was
pretty rough.
Yeah,
pretty rough.
Yeah,
that's
I
unfortunate.
always find it interesting, but no hate.
Yeah, exactly. We're not claiming that that's the reason that Cat ended up dropping. I have heard a couple other podcasts talk about how it's actually like kind of a little bit more of a problem than maybe people talk about. It's just like players dropping that, you can't say that they dropped because they weren't playing well, but I assume some of the pros have a little bit more of the inside scoop, and maybe that's why they're kind of skeptical about that. Because if that was the case, obviously that is selfish because someone else could take like that position to compete in that tournament.
I remember last year, the reason I brought this up is because I remember a specific tournament, Ben Calloway dropped out, I think either mid-round or after just like a horrible round. And he made some post about it that was like, tweaked my elbow, XYZ, something like that. And all of the comments were like, you were just playing bad, you're just trying to save your rating. You did this last event, blah, 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 blah. And, I'm in no place to know what's going on. Neither are the commenters, but I find it interesting.
Wild assumption.
Yeah, for sure. But like you just, like, especially pros have more of an insider scoop. Like, I feel like there should be something in place. Like, I don't know. Like, it's hard to say. Like, you can't test
it's a
someone's
gray area.
injury. Yeah. You can't test to see if someone's actually injured.
I think it's just integrity at the end of the day. I mean,
Yeah,
I think you can tell. It's pretty easy. You can tell. Like I'll always give someone the benefit of the doubt. Maybe the first time, second time. I think it's just if you're a serial offender. Like Corey Ellis, for example, he dropped, but he's had ongoing lingering issues. And, I would never see him as a person to drop because he's playing bad. So, yeah, it's all about just, like, integrity, kind of what are your gauge. But, like I said, I'll always give someone the benefit of the doubt. Like, there's some players up here in the Northeast that, they just, like, are dropping or tanking their rating just because, they are playing bad, not because of any injury. And, that's never a good thing.
You know what? Someone told me recently, and I'd be interested to hear if you guys have heard about this, but if you shoot 100 points below your rating, it doesn't affect your rating.
Yeah, it's the standard deviation. So I'm not going to try and explain it, but if you are, like, your rating's your average. So if you shoot something way out of your average, out of the standard deviation, it drops because it's like, okay, that was an anomaly or something like that. But I don't think that's the case if you get too high of a rating. So it's only on the lowest.
Interesting. That's really interesting. I don't know if I like that Because
I like
the guy who told me about this was like, he has had friends multiple times, like they're playing bad, but they know they're not playing bad enough. So they end up like 8-putting the final thing so that it doesn't affect their rating. Like, I don't know. Like, if you play bad, you played bad. I feel like it should be rating. I don't know.
Yeah, but you can like it's good. It's meant for people that like are good players and have a decent rating, or like people like you and me that okay, it's nice. I get like, okay, I played really bad. I tried my best, but I kind of the PDGA throws me a bone. It's not going to affect my rating, a bone or two. But you can tell if people are going to tank because it takes a lot to tank. Like for example, my latest round it was at Meadowbrook, and I shot like +9, and it was like eight something already. Let's just say like 870, and I'm 930 rated. So if I were to try and tank because I was playing bad, I would have had to, it would have been obvious, if that makes sense. I would have had to like lay up a putt, then lay it up again, then lay it up again, then lay it again. So you can definitely tell when people are trying to tank because that's normally when you're getting to like the +20s.
There's no repercussions though.
It's just your
someone
reputation.
On your card wouldn't.
It's your reputation.
Yeah,
that's it. If you're known as a tanker, you're not in the disc golf community. You're not seen as like honorable. Like you kind of get a reputation like, oh, whatever. So that's why it's always better. Like I said, the first round of Meadowbrook, the first round I played in Meadowbrook, I like 4-putted on the last hole, and it was like miserable because I was trying to go for birdie. Went long, circle's edge, tried to hit that, went long, and at that point it's like, what do I do? Do I just lay it up to take my double bogey, or do you? And then I end up running, and then hitting it. But
you gotta lay it up on the tractor, man. For
I
those
know.
that don't know, Meadowbrook's final basket is on top of a tractor.
Yeah, but I'm just saying in my experience, I guess it's completely unrelated, but it was just, I don't like, what do you all right, tanking's bad, don't tank. But anyways, moving on, what do you guys think is the best, or what would you do, best protocol? So it happened twice at my round 2. It's like I had a circle's edge putt. I'm not playing well at all. Like I'm like, very bad, doing very bad. I need to hit this putt. I run it, miss it. Okay, it goes long. Let's say 25, 30 feet. I run it again, miss it. Well, what? And it's long. Let's say 25, 30 feet. What is your, keep running it or just laying it up past the bat? Except like, okay, I'm defeated. Let's move on.
No, I think I've heard Gannon Bird talk about this because he runs a putt no matter what, and that's just his mantra, right? Like even if it's close to OB, like. So if you think about it, right? So the first putt, you're 30 feet and you're like, I need this birdie. Like I'm out of it.
Yeah.
I'm running this. So you run it. You miss it. What changed? Yeah, like you have an extra stroke now. Like if your mindset is I'm trying to claw back, you run it every single time. Like don't ever give up on that. But then, like if your mindset is I'm going to play safe and play safe golf, then that's, you lay it up on the first putt. I feel like it's either you just got to commit to the bit, whatever way you're going, I don't think it's hard because if you decide to lay it up, I think you lose all your confidence. I don't think that's helping you.
That's something I've been working on. So that's why normally I've always been so timid that I'm so scared to miss a putt that I go long anyways and miss it badly. So my mindset in this tournament was, and it cursed me, but it also helped me. I was hitting some insane putts, but also blowing past the basket. So my mindset was like, just run it. If you miss, you miss. Make the comebacker, and just like eventually, my whole thing, I was kind of investing in the long term. Eventually, you'll start making these putts because that's how you gain your confidence. Because for 3 years, I haven't made putts, and I've been so scared on the putting green that I thought I had to change something. So that was my goal, and I was running, but then it blessed me and it cursed me. So now I'm trying to figure out kind of like what the best give and take of the game is of when to be aggressive and when to kind of be more conservative. Like, okay, it's okay if I do miss this. I just need to get it kind of closer to the basket and give it like a soft bit. So that's something that definitely hurt me this last thing, but it also helped me. So it's weird. It's like the first round at Cogs, I was +8 after 9 because I double bogeyed 2 holes in a row, and then I went 4 down in the back 9, just canning putts.
It sounds like you have a game plan, but it sounds like maybe I think if you set a game plan, you just have to mentally accept whatever happens, whether it's good or bad. Because I feel like the moment maybe that you miss where it's like questioning like, oh, do I keep doing it? Do I not? Ben, do you have like a push putt, or do you just have like the one putt that you do?
So it's funny you say that. The reason I was a little more confident this weekend is I kind of was doing more of a flatter release, sort of pushy, not completely spin, more pushy, just flat release, going up and down. Like I finally started learning how to do the nose down putt, and that's why it was doing good in my backyard. But then I just kind of lost my mojo in the tournament, and I think honestly, ultimately, I know I'm asking these questions, but ultimately, it's just I got to practice more and put in the time with that putt. But I'm optimistic because if I do practice more and put in the time, it's a putt that I can get to the basket without blowing past it. But that's the
important
thing. If I throw it too high, then it blows past it. So it's like such a tricky thing because before my spinny pushy putt, it was just like if it missed chains, it was going like right or long on the side. But if now this putt, I'm missing low, like I hit cage like 7 times or way too high. But yeah, I gotta keep practicing, learning, and that's why I love disc golf so much. Just constantly trying to get better, and that's why I'm not really bummed. Like I'm pretty proud how I handled myself this week. And like last day, I was out of it and I had fun. I wasn't a terrible card mate. Because I know when I first started playing, like before even tournaments, I used to get mad if I didn't hit the line. Like I'd be like, "Are you kidding me?" Stuff like that. Now I've learned to like.
I have a funny story about that.
Yeah, let me know. But now I've learned to contain it to maybe like a thigh slap and be like, "Bro, what are you doing?" But yeah, before it's so funny because I'm way better now, and back then I like expected to like be nasty, even though I was trash. So, go ahead, Sajko.
I'll start first with the funny story. So Kiara and I were playing at Maple Hill back when we had our membership. Friday nights would be like our date night, kind of like go play Maple Hill. And I think we're on like hole 4 or something like that. And then we just hear someone screaming and we're like, dude, who is so obnoxious just screaming on the course right now? Like they are not stopping. And then we get up a few more holes. And I think we get to like hole 6 and I'm like, I just hear Sajko. And I like kind of ignore it because I'm like, oh, I think like, I'm like, I don't know if that's like actually real. Like, you can like kind of hear it. And it's like, Sajko. And I'm like, oh my goodness, it's Ben. It's Ben that's been obnoxious the whole time, just like hitting trees. And he's like, oh.
Yeah. So the caveat is I am loud when I play, just casual regardless, but it's more of like a
it's not aggressive.
It's not aggressive. It's like, what? I don't know. I'm just like a loud person. Yeah.
He's a hype man on the course.
Yeah.
For sure.
So when I play casually, for sure, I'm definitely loud. You can definitely hear me, but that's just because I'm having fun. But yeah, before I would not have fun, and I would be like,
I thought I was loud, and I think for most people I am loud. But then when Ben and I played together, I was like, nope, Ben's loud.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So you've seen it.
I'm loud.
Yeah.
I'm loud. It's definitely I kind of get subconscious because I don't want to distract people, and I try to tone it down. Like I don't want to be that guy where people are like, bro, that kid is so annoying, and I don't believe that's the case. I hope not. But yeah, definitely in casual rounds, I'm definitely more just kind of just let loose, have fun, and I'm just loud. I'm a loud person. I'm passionate, and that's just
it's all good.
Who I am. Who I am.
Yeah, it's all good.
I'm a loud boy.
Real quick before we move on, Ben, what do you think about when you putt? Are you thinking about like being afraid of missing, or is there something that you focus on?
That's the biggest reason I miss is because I'm so afraid of missing. Oh, I'm gonna go long. Oh, I have to make this comeback. Oh, I don't want to miss. I really need to make this. Da, 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 da. So, but I know putting. They say putting's mentally, but in a way it is. But only if you're at the top, and a good putter. For me, it's just I gotta get good at putting. Then it's mental. Because if I'm telling myself, oh, I'm going to make this, I'm going to can this, and I'm putting like with my elbow, I can tell myself I'm going to do all I want. And if I keep missing, like I'm not, the mind's powerful. You're not going to convince yourself and lie to yourself that you're actually going to make it. You know, there's always that. So that's why. It's just at the end of the day, it's me just getting reps in more and more, and then, you know, just getting comfortable with the new stroke that I'm trying to do.
You know who had a good stroke? Andrew Presnell.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we can go to MPO.
Yo, hit him
Do you
with
guys
it, Benny
like his
boy.
putt?
He came in a little hot on 18 with that final putt. Did you see how he just like boom?
He comes like low to high, like spinny. It's so interesting, but it works. You know,
His
'cause he
whole
took that
game
Silver
is
Series.
interesting, man.
Yeah.
Like
He took
that
Silver
backhand.
Series, last year, and
Yeah,
then,
Mid America Open.
Yeah, against
and
Gannon.
then this year, now he's got the major under his belt. It's proving to work. I feel like the biggest thing I've learned since watching pro coverage is that, yeah, there's like a formula and like there's things you should do, but you can really almost make anything work. You know, we had a world champion a few years ago that only throws backhands. You know, we have Andrew Presnell, who last year, that wasn't last year, that was.
Well, I think he's talking about Isaac. He does throw sidearms,
true.
but
you're talking about James. Okay,
I'm talking about James Conrad.
Yeah.
More backhand dominant. Like, you know, Greg Barsby's putt is crazy, you know, and he wins worlds. He throws in from 100, like he runs it from 120. Like, who else does that, right? Like, it really just goes to show that, like, there are things that you should do, but you don't necessarily have to. Like, you can get good
100%.
at unique things. Like Jake Wolf, you know, he only throws tomahawks and sidearms. Like, he hasn't won anything, but he's had a few good finishes. Like, you can do whatever you want in this sport, and like, if you get good enough at it, you can still win.
That's the beauty of it. That's why I love disc golf, because you can just be as creative or do anything. Like I remember back when I was first starting, so I was pretty much primarily backhand and just like my little push putt, and I played with someone that was entirely only sidearm, and they had the nastiest spin putt I've ever seen, or maybe it felt that way at the time because I was so new, but they were just canning them from everywhere. And just to watch someone's like tackle the same course that I would play all the time in a completely different style was so entertaining to me. Like, do you guys have like people that you've played with, even like locally or whatever, that you're just like, how are you even doing that?
Well, one of my good homies, literally, like, when he putts, I'm like, are you like doing a full run up for that, man, my guy? Like, he putts so hard, and like, you know, when he misses, it's not pretty,
Gonzo.
but he's like on most of the time, like. And when he put, like, for me, I'm a smush guy. Like, I kind of spin, I kind of push.
Jersey Shore.
Yeah, I'm stuck in between. But when he putts, it's just like poetry in motion sometimes, or putting in the ocean the other times. Like, it's just so bad.
Yeah, right.
And that is so interesting to me.
Yeah, no, I guess I get Paul Kranz as an example. Just seeing him play, he's pretty incredible. Locally, like, I know he's somewhat struggling on tour. He cashed once, but you know that's why you gotta understand these pro tour players are absolutely insane. They're like perfect. Like, I watched single-handedly Gannon Burr shoot 15 down on my pyramids home on Marshall Street. Like, it was easy. His first time blind. So that's how you got to understand how much better these pros are. So it's kind of magical to see. Yeah, let's get into Champions Cup. So obviously we had Andrew Presnell taking it down, which kudos to him. he's always been known as like the biggest grinder. He just seems like such a nice, genuine guy. Never's involved with drama. Tweet sometimes some controversial takes, but like as in controversial as in like sport, disc golf to sport wise. So he kind of gets in the mix sometimes. But yeah, he's always just been a guy that's had a good head on his shoulders, and never really caused any issues, and was just all around. You thought of Prez, you were like, okay, yeah, like he's a solid dude, and he's been a big grinder. Like he was a high school teacher, he left that to follow his dream, and he's been grinding it for years. Week in, week out, playing events. So him winning this, it's incredible, and it's honestly truly awe-inspiring, because he's like kind of like how Josh was saying, he doesn't have like the biggest bag, hypothetical bag in disc golf, meaning like in basketball, like when you're bag, you have all the moves. Like he can't throw that far. He has kind of a weird form, and his putt's a little weird. So it's not like he's like this like AB, like this super talented, athletic, like amazing, like awe-inspiring. Like you can't understand how they're doing it. He's kind of just like the average guy, just like us, that just kept working. The saying, hard work beats talent when talent fails to work hard. I think that's the epitome of Andrew Presnell, that he just kept grinding it out. He kept working and working. And he's like, you know what? Even though I got dropped by the Discraft Elite team, even though maybe I'm not finishing that well, I'm going to keep grinding. And look at him now, a major champion, and probably going to get picked up back up or by the elite team, or going to get some more money somewhere else. So the biggest storyline, other than Prez, obviously, was Casey White, the local boy, at least to me in Sajko. He was 14 down going into round
3.
Yeah,
right?
Going into round, it was like a few holes after round 3. He was 14 down. For reference, Presnell won the event after 4 rounds at 15 down. So if Casey White just parred out, I know he split his finger, which is so unfortunate. It's just so unfortunate timing, and you could tell that his split finger was getting in his head, because then he just kind of started losing strokes, bleeding them here and there. But it's just crazy how good he was playing, that he was basically at the tournament winner's score with basically 2 3/4 rounds, 1 3/4 rounds to play, almost 2 rounds to play, which was absolutely insane. Then we get Eagle McMahon back. He was on the lead card. Played. I don't know, how did he play the first? Was it? I thought he played decently well. It was bad.
It was very rough. I mean, he's just throwing sidearm scramble after sidearm scramble.
Okay. But yeah, I know obviously the second round was even worse. He
got progressively worse every single day.
I think I'm trying to see, did he shoot 12
I think
plus
he went,
12 at one point?
He went +5, like +8, and then +10, +12 day 3 or something like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to
He
find.
finished 26 over.
Yeah,
I mean, nearly at the bottom.
Pretty much, basically at the bottom. Unfortunate for, he shot at 81, which is plus 12, right? Yeah, so he did.
It's like first tournament back after a major injury and being out forever, and you play the hardest course in the world.
Could not
you
have
imagine?
A worse pick.
Could you imagine? Yeah. I would be so sad and mad. I mean, it would have been such a cool story if he did well or won it. But like, I feel like you can't, beat him up too much and be like, what? Eagles wash, whatever. Because first tournament back, hardest course in the world. He kind of did as good as you could have expected. Like, I don't think this is, this isn't the Eagle we're used to, but I don't know. I don't think this is a lackluster performance. I don't think I could go out and shoot +26 in 3 rounds.
No. I would imagine a win for him this weekend is playing the tournament and finishing the tournament
and feeling having his throw feel comfortable, right? And He posted a video about it. I haven't watched it yet, but hopefully it's just I played it and I finished, right? So
exactly.
I did see that he took a 10 on hole 12, day 3 though. So that had to hurt a little bit.
That's 5 strokes right there. Insane.
That seems so easy to do though.
Yeah. I want to play that hole so bad.
Same.
A little sneak peek is my plan is to make it out to Ledgestone. So hopefully I can post a video that's like,
ooh,
I played the hardest course in the world.
Oh, no, your next video is I birdied hole 12. That'd get a lot of clicks.
I birdied hole 12 at Northwood Black.
Yeah, and see how long it takes you. And you have to restart if it doesn't get... Yes, Jay. I'm just using your own advice you gave Sajko, making it more granular, more specific.
Yeah.
I played hole 12 better than blank number of pros at Champions Cup.
I beat 300 pros.
I beat Andrew Presnell at Champions Cup. See how many mulligans it takes.
I am Andrew Presnell.
But yeah, unfortunate for Eagle. Yeah, it's obviously just injuries, but I hope he wins again this year.
Bounce back, he wins DDO.
You got
next
$20.
week.
I'd get DDO. He does do good at DDO. I think that was his first kind of breakout tournament when he was super young at DDO.
This is my early doors pick. I'm doing my pick right now. Eagles winning next. Yeah, early doors.
What's that?
It's just like a saying, I think.
I don't know. Sounds good to me. I wouldn't have questioned it.
I like it. Early doors. I'm gonna start using it.
Yeah.
It's a sitcom. What's the phrase early doors mean? Early, near the start or beginning. Okay, so it's just
we have some facts here.
It's just early, but you just add doors to it for it to mean early.
Yeah. Sounds cooler, right?
It does. Instead of saying early doors. I love that. I'm just gonna start saying that.
Yeah. There you go.
But yeah, so kind of to wrap this all up, unless you guys have any other cool storylines, how is your feelings on how hard the course played, and should more disc golf be like this? And I'm gonna add a caveat. So I'm asking you this to both of you. So give your opinions. I'm gonna ask a caveat after that. What do you think on keeping it at Northwoods Black? Do you think it should go back to W.R. Jackson, or do you think Champions Cup is here to stay, or should be here to stay at Northwoods Black? Whichever one of you wants to go.
I can go.
Well, W.R. Jackson is going to be a completely new course, right? Like, it's not even going to be the same at all. Yeah. So I feel like that decision can't really be made now. I enjoyed this. I thought this was, I don't know, really interesting to see -15 over 4 rounds be the winner. You know, like, we've had multiple tournaments where -18 is 1 round. And I'm a big fan of like the super easy birdies, high scores, but I also like this to be in the mix as well. So my opinion on it is how it was sick. I liked it. I would enjoy. See, I enjoyed it because there wasn't a ton of artificial OB. I think that my biggest qualm with hard courses was when there's like a lot of artificial OB. This is just a lot of natural OB. Like, this course is just insanely hard, right? So my opinion is I liked how hard it is. If we could maybe W.R. Jackson could be this tough when they end up designing it or figuring out the new course layout over there. And then in terms of like staying here, I mean, I enjoyed it. I don't know why they should move it. I guess the biggest issue is like, is Ledgestone still playing around at Northwood? That would be interesting. Okay.
They're not.
So yeah. So I don't know. Is Ledgestone going to be the same without it? Who knows? We haven't seen that yet. I bet they'll move it back to W.R. Jackson just because that's where the PDGA is based out of, right? So this was probably just a 1-year thing.
Oh, dude, I've got a big brain thing right now. So Worlds this year is played down in Virginia. So first of all, I imagine they will go back to W.R. Jackson because they are working on the course. Like, they ended up moving the date for this tournament. It was like 3 different times they ended up moving it and then settled on this past weekend. So they are remaking WR Jackson, just a different layout. But
Yeah.
what if they held Champions Cup at New London, like where they're having Worlds this year? Like we haven't seen the pros play it yet, but I imagine that's going to be an insanely difficult course, and it might be somewhat comparable to that style of golf.
Yeah. I really enjoyed it, so I'll be looking forward to that as well.
Ben, where'd you go? There he is.
I'm here. I was just, you guys were talking. I was letting y'all talk. Yeah. In my opinion, I loved it. I think it should stay here. I would love Champions Cup to stay here. I think it was incredible. It wouldn't be fun to watch this every single event. I think there should, but I think it brings a variety. This is the only course where even is like a great score, and +2 is still like over 1,000 something rated. That it was very cool to see that people had to be on our A game. And the reason I liked it so much is because we got to see people like Andrew Presnell shine. It wasn't about distance. It was about hitting your lines, which Prez is good at. So that's why I think it would be an incredible major to keep it here. And I think it would build more prestige, because it's like, if you win this tournament, you are the woodsman, and you can claim that for a year. Like, you're the best player in the woods. We have Worlds that is just random. I know this year's in the woods, but we had a DDO just at Open Bombers the 2 years ago. And then USDGC is just like a kind of keep it in bounds. And then there's one more major, which is European Open. Yeah, which is, I don't know, I guess it's kind of a mixture. But all of those courses are kind of, obviously Worlds is different. It's kind of like, you got to get the most down to win. Whereas Champions Cup, I thought this year, I thought it was really cool. It's not about getting the most down. It's getting about the most down and surviving to keep that. We saw Casey White, he was at 14 down. Like, he was playing incredible, and, he couldn't hold on to that. So yeah, I think it should stay, and I really enjoyed watching it this weekend. Really.
Yeah, you never really see someone get to 14 down after the second round or early third round and then finish like -7. Yeah. If someone gets to 14 down, they're gonna finish -14 or better. Like that. Like, it's just unheard of to finish the tournament out like whatever he ended up finishing it out after that.
All right, let's move on. Sajko, let's go. DDO look ahead. Tell us what you got.
DDO look ahead. How do you guys always view DDO? For me personally,
boring. Sorry.
Yeah. For me personally, it ranks pretty low on my list.
I think for a lot of people. However, Jeremy Rusko did buy Emporio Country Club where it's at, and it's now called Champions Landing, and it's going to be disc golf exclusive, I believe. So now he has say over the creative things, and is probably going to be able to put a lot more changes in effect. But yeah, it's not the most entertaining for me.
No, and I think if anything, having it directly after Champions Cup, which is in theory like the most wooded place that we play, probably creates somewhat nice balance, I guess, where you're probably like, okay, yeah, let's see some bomb shots now. But yeah, like you said, I think there's a reason that no disrespect to DDO, I'm sure they're doing the best they can, but there must be a reason that people are kind of like, yeah, I'm gonna have an off week this week, or go do something else.
Yeah, a lot of people are skipping. Like, Big Germ is announcing on DDO. He elected to be an announcer as opposed to being a player. But yeah,
that's crazy.
That's think exciting. A lot of it is it's in the middle of nowhere, Kansas. There's no trees in Kansas. It's super flat, and there's not really a lot of excitement from it. It's kind of just like get as much birdies, wide open birdies. Like, if it's a birdie fest in the woods, it's different because you still have to hit your lines. Like, Champions Cup kind of was like that in WR Jackson, but still cool because you got to hit your lines. But here it's kind of like just throw open hyzers, and that's why Aaron Gossage almost won Worlds. He was just filleting with his forehand. He was throwing as hard as he could with his forehand and pinpointing them, and that's what I think in his interview he said, like, he was just throwing hyzers, and that's how he just stuck to his game plan of putting in these positions and throwing hyzers and sticking to greens.
I will say it seems like this kind of golf maybe is kind of underappreciated because as a player, maybe the courses play enjoyable, but at least in a place like Champions Cup this past weekend, you can see what the line is, and you can see it's very clear to the viewer what the disc has to do, as opposed to a course like this. There's not really like a clear view. Like you can't really see the wind per se, but I'm sure that's something that you have to consider when you're playing that course. As a viewer, I think it's just obviously you can't see wind, like I said, so it doesn't really make for exciting viewing.
I think that's completely valid because the biggest issue, or I don't know, struggle with DDO is the wind. What was it like 2 years ago or like last year or whatever? Where I think DDO
it was
finished
2 years ago.
So they the winner finished might have been -15 or less or something. And
no, it was something insane. I'll have to find it. Keep
it
going.
was Ricky. It might have been like
he won.
-8 or something.
Ricky won.
Brody
Ricky
Smith.
Won, yeah.
Brody
Came
Smith
in
was
third,
carrying
yeah.
the tournament on his shoulders.
Yeah, and that's just like you said, wind is invisible, but that's what made it hard.
Right.
At Champions Cup, you can see what makes it hard. At DDO, you can't
there you
see
go.
it,
That's a much more that's a much more trite way of saying what I was trying to say.
In 2022 at the Dynamic Discs Open, Ricky shot -10. Second place was -4. Third place -2, and then 10th place was even. So yeah, it was
crazy.
And I think that was the first time Paul Macbeth landed outside of cash and or missed the cut,
Forever.
I think, or something like that.
Yeah.
In a lot. That's what it was. That was the first time he missed a cut in forever. Yeah. So it was brutal out there. It was just gale force winds. But yeah, I'm excited that we're early doors on DDO. So we're gonna see how it plays out. Yeah.
Should we make our picks right now?
Yeah, let's make our picks. Go ahead.
Ooh. Get him.
I'm gonna go Eagle, like I mentioned earlier.
Oh, I like that.
And then I'm gonna go Holland Hanley.
Who the heck am I gonna go with?
For me, it's just like shooting fish in a barrel. I just pick a random person most of the time.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with Ezra Aderhold because obviously his game lines up well for this, and I just want to see him win one. And if there was a course that he could win, this would probably rank pretty highly. And then for FPO, I think Evelina's gonna take it down again.
Ooh, back to back?
Yeah, back to back. That would be nasty.
Kristen's not gonna let that slide.
I'm just checking my picks for MPO. I am going with Anthony Barella. I don't think I've ever picked him to win this year, so I'm hoping that'll change. And FPO, I think I'm gonna go Holland Hanley as well. She finished there last year, and hopefully she pulls it off. But yeah, I'm running out of. I'm just because my picks are for Pop Drop Clock, which is on Second Stand, so you can check out that, and we can only pick a person to win 5 times. So I've used Kristen twice, I've used Holland maybe twice already. So I gotta be selective where I wanna pick. Yeah.
So all three of us, I think we all want to get better at disc golf, but I don't imagine we're all trying to be on the pro tour per se and just trying to be the absolute best player of all time on the pro tour. But what we are disc golf content creators. So I thought it would be interesting to touch on just maybe someone is out there that is trying to start a YouTube channel or start making disc golf content. So for anyone that's looking to start making content, where would you guys like? Where should they start, or why should they make content? Maybe go over like a couple questions like that, just to provide some helpful advice.
All right, I'm starting.
I
Here,
have all the control.
here's my simple advice, and I think I've already said this: make the video that you would want to watch, because I feel like it's easy, at least for me, sometimes to be like, yeah, that's my advice. Make the video that you would want to watch, and that gets you excited, because if you're excited about it, someone else is like you and will be excited about it. And if not, then I don't know, ask your brother or your sister what video they would want to watch and make that video, because that's where you provide value to someone like you or to someone like your brother or sister or whatever. And then on top of that, if you're making a video you would want to watch, it's something that interests you, and it's not soulless content, because it's content that you would want to create. And so that's my like base level, like, here is what you should do in terms of like making a video. But then on top of that, maybe more like tangible, practical advice is like, start small. I think the hardest thing to do is to get your first video out there. It took me forever. So like, make a video and just get it out there rather than trying to make it perfect, just put stuff out there, start grinding. Mr. Beast put videos out for like 15 years before he had anything really stick. Most of these major YouTubers right now, or just content creators in general, didn't find success overnight. And so if you just start making a video and, like, it might not fully be there and you need to change this or change that, like, just post it, get it out there, see what people think, use the critiques you get from people, and then evolve. I always tell people, another practical thing is, I always tell people to use DaVinci Resolve. That's what I edit on, and it's completely free. So you don't need the Adobe suite, or you don't need, iMovie is free as well, but Apple has the not free one. I can't think of what it's called right now, but just use DaVinci Resolve, put your videos in there. It's fairly simple. Watch YouTube videos on how to use it, and get going. Just start and make content that you would want to see. That's my advice.
Yeah, to interject on that really quick. So our viewer submitted question of the week. It was from Braden Oliphant, and I'm mentioning it now because he asked, what editing software would you recommend to someone new to content creation?
Wait, what? We just went back, or we predicted the future. That's awesome.
Yeah, so that's kind of why I ended up asking that question, because like him, I'm sure there are multiple people out there that may be watching this or may watch it in the future and may have questions. So just can provide a useful outlet. But yeah, I also use DaVinci Resolve. I don't use it nearly as much though, so I actually edit a lot of things like easily on the go with Splice on my phone. I don't know if you guys have heard of that one before.
I've heard of CapCut.
Yeah, I've heard of CapCut. What'd you say, Ben?
By Discmania?
yeah, exactly. No, I use Splice. I think it's like $80 for the year or something like that, and it's like probably the most user-friendly software I've ever seen. And like I said, I've used DaVinci Resolve, and it's definitely like a little bit more complex to learn that. But yeah, like Josh said, don't spend your money on Adobe, because I think I've heard like a lot of YouTubers are going over to DaVinci Resolve, and it's like, why would you not if it's free?
Yeah.
Yeah, I use personally Adobe, but that's just what I learned on.
That's amazing.
Scrub.
But I also use Photoshop, Audition. Audition's how I get this podcast from video to audio for Spotify. So I use it for a lot different. What's up, Sajko?
I was gonna say, because like Josh said, I guess we did kind of touch on this like previously, so maybe we could help offer some advice, because I'm sure you guys have had burnout in some capacity. So maybe, what would you recommend for someone that feels like they're stuck in a rut in their content? because I mean, if you are grinding, it's at some point, no matter how much you like it, you will get burnt out and maybe feel like the workload kind of taking its toll on you. So any helpful advice for that?
For me, stuck in a rut. Yeah, if you're stuck in a rut, first, this is what. Look me here. This is to you, my viewers. Oh, well, I was saying.
Oh, well, this is weird.
I was saying the hypothetical viewers. First of all, find out if this is what you want. If this is what you want to do, if this is what you're passionate about. I think that's the first key. Obviously, you got to try it, but if you realize like, oh, not really too passionate about this, then don't force yourself to keep doing. Because until I found disc golf, I was always trying things like music, for example. And I would have to basically beg myself. I'd have this inner monologue all day, like, oh, I gotta make music. Oh, I gotta make music. Oh, I'll do it in 2 hours. 2 hours comes. Give me 1 more hour. 1 hour comes. You know what? Maybe not. I'll just do it tomorrow. Tomorrow comes. I really gotta make music, but and it would go on for like, so I wouldn't make music for 4 months, and that would be the inner dialogue all the time. And I didn't realize it's because I just didn't enjoy making music until I found disc golf. So that would be my first thing. If you first genuinely enjoy creating content and that's what you want to do and passionate about, and if that fades, that might fade. That sometimes happens too. But you gotta have an honest talk with yourself. That's what I did with music, and be like, I see that I love disc golf this much more, and I'm actually don't feel like all the work I'm putting in is work at all. That's fun to me, and I enjoy doing it. And in fact, I find myself thinking about it more and wanting to do it more. So I basically dropped music after a year of kind of deciding, and I was just like, I just love disc golf that much more, and it's all I love. Not all I love, but it's what I think about, and I don't feel like it's ever work, even the business side of it. For burnout, for content creation wise, so that's my first tip. Find out if you actually want to do it.
No, I think that's a good tip.
Yeah, because even for me, I love creating content, but you gotta understand there's an editing side to it, and that's the part I don't like, and that's why sometimes my videos I take a while to upload videos, because it's just like I just don't look forward to editing, and sometimes I just don't look forward to recording content. That's why podcasts are easy because I can just show up and do what I need to do at that moment and then post it. But I'm just saying for long form. So even me, I struggle with burnout for like content wise, like all the time, because it's just like it just happens. So first you gotta love it. I think I struggle from burnout personally because I just have so much on my plate, and that, like I said, content is just part of the gig. Something I like doing, and what you gotta do. And since I like disc golf, that's just part of the gig for me. Do I want to be a 1 million subscriber YouTuber and make a living off YouTube? No, that's just not for me, and that's okay, because I know what I do want, and the stuff I do want is the stuff I'm more focusing on. But now that all that is set aside, say if you want to do content 100%, you're all in, you want to do it, it's the best thing ever, it's all you want to do, and you're feeling burnt out, I'd say simple, take a rest. Take a rest to the point where if you're still thinking about content in the next video and how you're going to make it better, and you're itching to do it after like day 5 or 7, that's when it'll cure burnout, in my opinion, and that's when you're actually truly in love and passionate about something. Because if I don't play disc golf or work on like the expos or anything like that for a while, it's just like I'm kind of itching to do. I'm like I feel like I'm lazy. I feel like I got to do something. I feel like I got to go practice, or I got to go work on the website or something like that. So that's my recommendation. I know it was a lot of words, but the reason I'm saying this is because I just want to be transparent with people that maybe sometimes like making content isn't what your favorite thing is, and that's okay. Like sometimes that's for me. It's not my favorite thing in the world to do. It's just something I know that I need to do if I want to further my self in disc golf, and further my brand. You just have to create content. It's just what it is. That's why you see all these players focus so highly on the social media aspect. Unless you're winning all the time, if you want to like grow your brand and make a living off this, you have to make content. It's just the simplest, easiest way to actually be a part and grow your brand. So that's why I'm kind of being more transparent to why are you guys laughing? Why are you guys laughing?
I think there's an answer in there somewhere. There's an answer in there somewhere.
What?
Yeah, you just saying the same thing over and over.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, but there you go. I'm very passionate about it. That's why I'm kind of talking because
he's passionate.
Because I'm super passionate about it. But yeah, I just wanted to let anyone out there, if you're struggling with making content, that it's okay. You just got to do it and just keep doing it. That's all I gotta say.
There you go.
Yeah, Josh, did you have an answer ready?
Because I'll try to keep it a little shorter.
Yeah,
exactly.
Bro,
same deal.
I went off.
Shouldn't be too difficult.
So if you're stuck in a rut or you're experiencing burnout, my suggestion would be something we talked about a little bit earlier, is switch it up. Like for me, I mentioned how I take a lot of inspiration from Ryan Trahan or Casey Neistat. I haven't really had too much burnout or stuck in a rut yet, but that video I talked about earlier where I was like, this is my most proud video, it was a very different style of video from my typical style of video. So if you're stuck in a rut, try something new, go for a different style. Or like say you typically make 18 holes, just play with me, do a challenge, do a science experiment in disc golf, just try something that isn't the same thing as what you're doing to push yourself and see if that's something you enjoy. Because if it's something you enjoy, then boom, you have another avenue of content that you can use and go into moving forward, and if it doesn't work, you try something new and you can get back to your old stuff and maybe it'll be reinvigorated, so just try something new. Honestly, maybe dive into a different part of YouTube or a different part of Instagram or just a new style of content to consume yourself and see, hey, what could I take away from this? What could I try out? And I think that would be a very good way to get out of your rut or get out of your burnout, because you'd be going in a new direction. So yeah, that's my advice.
Yeah, that's super solid.
Yeah, because burnout is okay. Like I don't. The content isn't. I'm just kidding.
I was just gonna end up saying I think people are afraid to try different things. Ben kind of touched on that a little bit. You just gotta. That's what your 20s are about. You're not gonna have it figured out. I know a lot of people, including myself, they get out of college and they're like, they can't find a job in their field, and they're like, I don't understand. I feel lost in life, and you just gotta just keep trying stuff. No matter what,
yeah, totally.
That's how you figure out what you want to do. It's very rare. The people, I think I touched on it in the first episode, where they're like, as soon as I go to college, I'm gonna buy a house and become a doctor and do all these things. That's kudos to that kind of person, because I can't do that. But I agree as well. I'm kind of the opposite of Ben, where Ben said for me, it's just keep going. You're not every day you're gonna want to feel like editing, but then when you see the final product and you truly are passionate about what you're doing, you'll be like, I'm really proud of this because I even chose to do this even when I didn't feel like doing it. Totally. And you'll look back on it someday, or at least I tell myself, where you're like, I'm glad that I kept trying my hardest, because if I'm not trying my hardest every day, then I can't be upset with myself. Like the other day, actually, I didn't even end up answering the question at the beginning of the episode what my favorite piece of content is. I ended up putting one out a couple of days ago. It's the what is it? What male?
What Pokemon you are?
No, what male people?
Oh yeah, the mailman.
Do with my disc package. And I don't know why I loved it so much. It just felt like everything came together, where it's kind of like a little bit of my style from the past, kind of like where I'm trying to go with my style of content, and it's just seeing how far my editing has come. So I think that's kind of just why it was gratifying. It's not necessarily doing as well as some other things that I've posted, but that's okay because I know that I liked it so much that it doesn't even matter if it does well. Obviously, I would like if it does, but that and kind of what Josh said, just keep doing new things. Always try to keep it exciting as you can, because obviously you are, like I said, if you are grinding it out, it's going to feel like a job no matter how much you love it. So just always try a different style, or maybe you want to do like a different editing tip where you do like color grading or something like that, or just always trying to keep it fresh just in whatever way you can. I think if you focus on that for each project that you work on, you'll find enjoyment in whatever you do.
Agreed.
Yeah. So I think out of all my chaos, I think you kind of answered what I was trying to say. Is that
I'm your translator.
Yeah, is that you're not gonna feel like it some days, but you just do it. Just because you don't really necessarily feel like it, you just keep going. And I guess that's
Nike said it best.
Ultimately, what I was trying to say is
Right.
that content is my biggest priority, and sometimes I don't feel like doing it, but it's just what you got to do. You just keep doing it, and it's just part of the process of being growing your brand. I guess that's what I was trying to say.
If you don't like what you're doing, try something else, and that's okay too. I think people are afraid of trying new things. Like you said, you did music before. I did music before. Of course, I wanted it to work out. It just didn't end up working out.
Where are you?
Yeah, where are you?
I'm so sorry. I cannot sleep. I cannot
All
drink
right,
tonight.
we're done. Yeah, we gotta wrap this. We gotta wrap this thing up. Thank you to everyone that somehow made it this far into the episode. We appreciate.
Yeah, we're not early doors anymore. We're late doors.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what we should call this part where we fall off. We call it late doors.
We appreciate you guys taking the time to listen to our podcast, whether this is your first one or you've been listening since the first episode. Do all the things that YouTubers and content creators say. Rate us or subscribe or like or follow us on Instagram at FunsiePod. Even though I'm joking about it, it does help us really try to grow this, and we appreciate all of your support. Funsie Folk, thank you.
Thank you.
Just close that with Funsie.
3, 2, 1. Funsie.
Funsie.
I miss you.